It's time for Access the Experts from the University of Nebraska at Omaha with your host, Brandon Axamit.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Access the Experts on News Channel Nebraska, where every Tuesday and Thursday, University of Nebraska at Omaha faculty members answer today's questions facing our state. Today we have the pleasure of hearing from Dr. Craig Maher, who is the director for UNO's School of Public Administration. And today's question has to do with the biggest issue that lawmakers are trying to address in Nebraska, and that is property tax. So Craig, today's question is, what role do property valuations play in property tax?
Hey Brandon, great question, and one that is asked of me on a regular basis, whether it's by my neighbors or when I talk to local groups about property taxes and tax policy. The question about the relationship between assessments in property taxes is relatively straightforward, but can also be a little bit confusing. This is particularly important in Nebraska for a couple of reasons. One is local governments in Nebraska rely heavily on the property tax. And then we also have this urban rural divide in the state where ranchers, for instance, in western Nebraska are affected quite differently than homeowners and business owners here on the eastern edge of Nebraska. So the question of this relationship depends upon a couple of things. One is the degree to which the overall property tax increases in a community. And we're talking about property taxes that are collected by counties, municipalities, school districts, natural resource districts, for instance, and community colleges. So you need to understand the degree to which those entities are collecting property taxes, and you need to look at your property assessment, and you look at your property assessment relative to what's happening within that given community. And so, for instance, if your assessment goes up, let's say 5%, and the city's overall assessment went up 10%, that makes you liable for a smaller portion of the overall property tax bill. So whether your property tax bill goes up, again, is a function of our overall property tax collections increasing, and then how is your individual property assessed relative to the overall citywide average. If you're interested, if you want more information, why don't you check out my Nebraska State and Local Finance Lab, and I've got several documents that should help readers get a little bit more detail on some of these questions.
Well, thank you so much, Craig, for sharing your expertise on a topic that impacts so many Nebraskans. For our viewers at home, do not forget that Access the Experts airs every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:46 a.m. and p.m. only on News Channel Nebraska. On our next edition of Access the Experts this Thursday, we'll continue our property tax conversation with Dr. Maher. We'll see you then.
Access the Experts, presented by the University of Nebraska at Omaha. If you have questions, submit them on our website. Then join us every Tuesday and Thursdays at 6:46 a.m. and p.m. while we answer your questions.